spur people to do for action. And I guess what I was trying to convey before, or what I was really thinking about, that people the dry mind don't understand that that's what the action you're wanting to spur. Like it's not evident. What's happening is you're getting like the shock factor to get their attention, but then it's just upsetting people, and it's actually pulling them away from your cause. Like it's not.
No, they're already pulled away. They're already pulled away. They're already doing nothing.
I don't think so, but
I know so. I've been doing this for a decade.
I guess that's if your intent truly is to make awareness and spur people to action, this is pushing people in the other direction.
They're already pulled in the direction.
No, I don't think so. But you're convinced of that.
Well, because that's what I've seen over a decade.
But my point is, if your intent is to spur people to action, this is actually pushing them in the opposite. You're pushing them away in a day of celebration. You're shock and awe. Like I've educated myself in this. I've seen it. I think it's heartbreaking. And you asked me also, like, what am I doing about it?
Well, oppose it.
And I reflected on that as well. I have conversations with people like within my sphere of influence. They know where I stand. I'm trying to remove the guise of it's women's rights, like my friends who believe that still. And so I'm doing my part like on a smaller scale, on like a one-to-one basis. And I truly believe that I am able to make an impact in that way. And I think, and I know that you're passionate about this, and that's why you're here, and your intent is good. And so there's probably nothing I can say to help, like maybe change your mind. But I know
get the people here to go out to Planned Parenthood, go out yourself.
What's happening here, you're turning people away when you're trying to do this on a grand scale.
Already turned away now.
I mean, have you had anyone give you a positive indication when they're driving by that you're reaching them in a positive way and stirring them to the action that you want?
I don't
have you
really.
Had to be like, thank you, or smile, or like.
A lot of people do that and they still do nothing.
But you're actually having the opposite effect because they're not going to be behind you. When you do this to their Christmas day, I do know that.
Well,
I mean, have you had anyone
different.
come by that's given you a positive feedback that you're
I get a lot of positive response, and a lot of those people still do nothing.
Well, my question to you was, have you heard of Save the Storks?
Yeah, and I don't support them.
Why?
Because I don't support the pro-life movement. It's wicked. They're regulating mass murder.
Please, I want to give. You gave me something, and I can go give it to him if you won't take it. But you gave me some literature, and I just want to have you. I encourage you to look and look.
I'm familiar with the organization.
They're not pro-life. I mean, they're not pro-choice.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the pro-life movement is wicked because they are regulating mass murder, and they kill bills that would abolish abortion. I know because I've been following the pro-life movement for over a decade now. And I used to be a part of it.
They are, I mean, by having love and compassion and reaching people through what Christ wants us to do is love and compassion, and not in your face shame or like.
Well, we should be ashamed. I mean, we do this to our children. We should be.
But this isn't how. If you're really trying to spur people to action, this is pulling people away. So I just encourage you to maybe look at the approach they're taking to help people, and they've actually stopped abortions. This isn't going to stop it. Like.
Actually, it does, ma'am. I know for a fact it does.
How so?
I held a child in my arms.
No, this approach.
Well, if you'll listen, I'll actually explain it to you. I held a child in my arms about 3 or so years ago, and her mother told me that part of the reason she chose not to murder her child was because of images like that.
Perfect. That's what I'm saying. Like education.
That's actually not what you're saying.
But yes, it
you
is.
said it doesn't save any children.
In your face a way that in the process of maybe helping one person, you're pushing hundreds of people away from your movement. Where if education to young girls who don't know that a baby is that formed,
they know.
They don't know. Young
they
girls,
come out, come out to where they're murdering the children.
Listen to me.
Are you listening to me?
Parenthood keeps young girls in ignorance.
Ma'am, they know.
Ma'am, don't know that. Don't let them hear the heartbeat.
Ma'am, if you came,
piece of that movement is they allow women to hear the heartbeat of their babies.
Ma'am, they hear and they still want to murder their babies. Ma'am,
you're talking about a small subset of the whole. There's a lot of young girls, teenagers who don't know this.
Ma'am,
that you can have a bigger impact by educating.
Come out to Milwaukee, affiliated medical services on Saturday mornings, and you'll see they know exactly what they're doing. They'll say, I know I'm killing my mother, blanket baby, and I'm going to do it anyway. I've heard them say that.
I know
they know. They walk past these signs, and they know.
I know, I believe you.
No, you don't, ma'am, because you're saying the opposite. Ma'am, I'm just telling you, you've told me the opposite. You're saying they don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you they do know.
Some women who are lost, and they are doing it. And of the millions and millions of abortions that happen every day,
they walk past these signs, ma'am.
Young girls
They do. They do.
Intentionally keeps people in the dark about that.
They know better because they've seen these pictures. We show these pictures to them on Saturday mornings, every Saturday, and they still go in and harden their hearts. They know, man.
But how are you motivating people this way to action?
Well, I'm hoping that they'll have compassion for their murdered neighbors.
They should have. They will have compassion.
Well, why can't you?
I don't understand that you're.
You hear what I'm saying?
You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Well, man, can you?
I told you that I'm against abortion.
And you're against us showing these images. These images save lives.
I'm letting you know that the way that you're approaching it is not motivating people. I've asked you, what do you want to do? I want people to see this and then go to Planned Parenthood.
Well, the people going inside
this. Not.
Will you go to Planned Parenthood?
Look at the faces of the people coming through and think, and just ask yourself, how many people are you reaching in the way you want versus how many you're pushing away?
Well, maybe you think I have a different goal than what I have. Maybe you think I have a different goal.
And that's what you told me.
Well, I have different goals in doing this. To be honest with you, I've kind of given up on the churches and them coming in to help me because they don't help. I've been going to churches for years and they don't care. They don't want to do anything. The vast majority. My goal in coming here is not to get people to come out because I know they won't. The vast majority. My goal is to put this in front of their face, to show them what they're tolerating, and to call them to repent for doing nothing. I'm not saying there's not one person here that's actually obeying God. I'm saying the vast majority are doing nothing.
From a Christian biblical sense, I think you're talking about like Old Testament kind of approaches.
And the Old Testament is God's word.
Being
this
effective,
is love.
Asking yourself what's effective versus proving a point.
Oh man, like Jeremiah didn't have one comfort in 50 years.
You want to be heard and you want to prove a point, but is it effective?
Yes,
is it having the effect that you want? But I'm telling you, and ask yourself, truly the faces that are coming through here, how many people are you affecting in the way you are coping and all the energy? I think your intent is good. That's why I'm talking to you right now. Like, I think that your heart's in the right place and your intent is good, and I'm just asking you to consider like some of these approaches that are, or something else that versus in your face, it's kind of a
needs to be for people at peace.
Ask yourself if it's effective or if there's other ways, like education. Like,
and we've been doing it. We've been educating people for 50 years, and they still murder their babies.
This isn't education.
Actually, it is.
It's education with love and compassion.
It's education. It's love and compassion to the babies being murdered.
Education is different with love and compassion.
It is for the preborn.
In your face.
We need to be in your face because people are murdering their babies.
Spending a lot of energy, and I know you're passionate about it, but you're turning. I'm telling you,
Already
that organization or another that might be a better way to explore. We might get the results you're looking for. And
no, it won't.
Without, this is a day of celebration for Christ's life.
Well, when we celebrate while we know mass murder, that's not going to
You're very, very single focused on that piece.
Well, why can't you be?
This is a day of celebration. I am.
You want to celebrate Christ while ignoring babies being murdered?
This isn't going to be the effect that you want.
Yes, actually it is.
At the same time, it's a day of celebration for people. You're turning people away.
Celebrate Jesus Christ while babies are being murdered and they do nothing about
You're
it.
turning people away from your cause.
They're already turned away. They can't be any more turned away. They already don't care.
Look into that organization place or something that can really reach people's hearts and make a difference rather than, I know you're making a statement, but it's different than educating people with love and compassion to motivate them to make different choices. This is motivate people to take action.
Maybe not you.
Turning people away. Pardon?
Maybe not you. Could you have compassion for these murdered children?
How many people have come through and you're avoiding eye contact probably, or you're upsetting them on a day of celebration?
They should be upset.
It's not motivating them to change. If your part is to motivate change, ways to do that, then come on a day of celebration and upset people and make a wow factor.
Well, they should be upset. The babies are being
You're not
murdered.
motivating them in the way you want. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
I'm trying to
You're making a statement. You're making a statement.
It is.
There are better ways to
It's giving in and diving up on their guilty heads.
I know that you're so passionate about this. There's nothing I can say to help. I just want to do my part.
Help to abolish abortion.
But the way you can do that too is by motivating like individual people one at a time to actually stop doing it. Because on a grand scale, all that's doing right. This is a lot of activity, it's a lot of noise. But to abolish abortion completely,
This is not going to do that, right? I can guarantee you. This will not do that.
Allow people with compassion compassion, to hear the heartbeat, change minds. You're not going to change
A lot of
everyone.
people don't. A lot of them
The women in
don't.
Milwaukee that you've seen coming through, I'm not telling my motherfucking baby, it is heartbreaking. You're not going to change some of those hearts. But there's plenty of girls who can, who just don't have education.
They have education, man.
How do you say that?
Because I've done a lot of research on this. Because I've done so much research on this. I know they've been educated. Ma'am, they know that it's a human being in the womb. 50 years ago, maybe I had an argument. But now, they have no excuse. They know. They walk by these signs every Saturday morning. They know what they're doing.
There are other ways to do this.
And we need to do it this way.
I'm telling you, like myself growing up through this, through college and everything, the people should know better, and they should know this.
They do know better.
There's a separation
They do.
between
Now, I'm just telling you the truth.
Christmas Day.
You wouldn't believe me if you'd come out to the abortion
celebration
mills.
of Jesus, and having this message of love and compassion that's going to impact people to change. This is just upsetting people.
Maybe it's upsetting people because they know they're guilty.
To not be the people driving. If your intent is you want to motivate people to change, that message is not coming through. People coming through right now don't know why that you're here to get them to go be motivated. I tell you, like me seeing the first time, my first thing was my husband and I were talking like, why are they at the church, right? Like we are already. The majority of people here are already with you, or already against abortion.
No, they're
not
not.
the people
They're
that
not with us.
But I'm telling you, I'm the person you're trying to reach. That I'm thinking, why are they here? No one understands. It's like it's almost like you're trying to educate the people coming in that abortion is bad.
No, it's not bad. It's murder.
What I'm telling you is, it's murder. It's sin. It's horrific. It's awful.
Let's act like it.
But everybody who's coming through here, they're like, it's almost like you're trying to educate people on that fact, and they're already with you. So the confusion
Not
is,
by
why are
actions.
you choosing to do this on Christmas Day to these people who are already with you, versus the people who need to be reached are probably not coming to church on Christmas Day.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of people coming who don't normally come to church, and they're murdering their babies. There might be someone in there today that's going to murder their baby next week, or they're taking hormonal birth control. They need to see these signs, and maybe this might save a child from being murdered.
I know, but you're not. I'm telling you, as a person who sees you and has not had a conversation, the majority of these people coming through aren't having a conversation with you, right? They're just driving by, they're shocked, and they drive by, and now they're upset. They don't know that your intent is to spur them to change and change legislation. Like, it just looks like you're trying to educate them on something that they already think is horrific,
But
and now you just
what do they do about it?
upsetting. But they don't know that that's your intent. That's what I'm telling you. You're standing here in the cold. You're so passionate about this, but it's not evident to the people that are coming by. It's lost. People are confused by why here, why now.
Well, that's why we're preaching, so they can
Closing their
understand.
eyes to it.
That's why we're preaching, so they can hear the
People
message.
are just like blocking it out.
Well, you assume that.
But if you're trying to get people to take action, that's not evident. None of your intent is evident to all of these hundreds of people you're actually killing.
Some of them might be listening.
But how many people, like, do you look at the cost benefit? Hundreds of people are now turned away and upset versus one, maybe, who might have said, I saw this on Christmas Day and I was, right?
Well,
Like,
sometimes you have to go give a message to 100 people, you reach only one person.
You are good, but this approach, because people don't know what you're trying to do.
But they see the pictures. That accomplishes a
They already
lot.
agree with you that abortion is terrible.
Oh, but they don't do anything about
Action
it.
you're trying to, the fact that you're trying to spur them to action, it's not coming through. It's not evident.
Oh, people have gotten involved by seeing these pictures before. Just by seeing a picture of a murdered baby, they got involved.
So is it worth it to you? Is it better to turn away hundreds of people and upset hundreds of people for the chance that someone might have seen this on Christmas Day? Like, you're actually right.
Well, they're already turned away, man. I'm not going to turn them away because they're already turned away.
Then why are you here? If you've given up. Like, when I talk with you, you're like, no, it doesn't matter. Nothing I say matters. It doesn't.
I'm listening to you. But you're basing a lot of what you're saying on false assumptions. I'm not saying differently.
You're very, like, you've already made up your mind that there's no hope.
And I've done this for over a decade.
Why are you here? Why are you doing that?
To show the bloody city her abominations as...
But you've already said that people don't care, people already know, and they're already sinners, and they're already...
It's to provide an indictment upon the churches in their guilt. They know what's going on, and when they harden their heart, as a vast majority.
Are you trying to shame them?
Well, I'm trying to explain, but you're cutting me off. When they harden their heart, it's an indictment upon their guilty heads. And there are a few churches that actually are open, but the vast majority are not. They're guilty, and it provides an indictment. And they'd be more guilty and held accountable to God. They can't say they didn't know. If they never, there may have been people here who didn't see these images before. They've seen it today. They can't say they didn't know. What they can say to God is, I knew, I just didn't care.
Is your intent to shame people or to motivate them to change?
Well, they should be ashamed for doing nothing.
Is it to shame people and try to make them you're guilty, you know, and you're not doing anything? To shame them or to motivate them to take action?
Well, if the gospel shames them, then yes.
The gospel isn't for shame.
It is. We're supposed to be ashamed of our sin.
That's for God to judge. It's not your job to shame other people into action, though.
Well, the gospel shames them.
You're not God, right?
No, I'm not saying I am. I'm saying that
Jesus
Lord
calls us is to motivate people through love and compassion, one-on-one. I'm going to help one-on-one.
And the masses.
Right?
You have to educate masses of people.
But you're going to how can you have an impact? Right?
Because you reach a lot of people through
Jesus
speakers.
is to have an impact with people with love and compassion, one-on-one. So
This is love. This is love to the preborn.
No, what I'm hearing from you is that you want to shame and have people feel shameful.
It should
for
be.
knowing about it.
It should be if they're doing nothing, if they're murdering their own babies.
Inconsistency of what you're saying.
What?
Do you hear the inconsistency of what you're saying?
No. Ma'am, people.
You're trying to shame people, but that's
I'm saying they should be ashamed in their sin of doing nothing about this. That is shameful. That's a shameful act, a lifestyle.
but what's the action? What's the specific action that you want someone to come through?
I already told you. And you didn't like the answer. Well, go out to the places where they're being murdered. You don't want to do that yourself. You told me. Go and.
I've had an impact on my own way by having one-on-one conversations where I have a spirit of influence.
Okay, well maybe other people will go out there and obey God. But also.
Wait, are you saying I'm not obeying God? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you don't want to go out to where they're murdering babies.
Do you believe you're obeying God?
What?
Do you believe that you're obeying God and having more of an impact than I am by having fellowship and motivation with?
Well, I mean, I'm loving my neighbor as myself as much as I know how to do when in the midst of a Holocaust when most are doing nothing.
So do you believe that you're doing the right thing and I'm doing the wrong thing?
I don't believe you're doing the right thing, no. No, I don't.
By having conversations within my sphere of influence to change people's minds.
Well, I think you're doing what's easier for you and you don't want to do what's hard.
Do you think it's easy?
It's easier than probably going out to where they murdered babies.
I think that I'm actually helping people. Do you think this is helping people to
Yes,
your
I
cause?
do. Yes, I do. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think so. If I didn't think this was productive or fruitful, I wouldn't do it. Maybe we have a different definition of what's fruitful. People need to see these images. That's fruitful that they see
I
it.
think people do need to be educated. I think there's also a sacredness for celebration on Christmas Day and the importance. Jesus wants us to motivate people to change in a way that's effective with love and compassion. This is in your face shame.
It should be shameful when we allow it to happen.
That's not what Jesus calls us to do. It's
Actually, he kind of
them
did.
to his way through love and compassion.
Read Judges chapter 19, ma'am. Judges
But
chapter.
you're talking Old Testament?
Man, that's God's word. Don't disregard the Old Testament.
Is he telling you as an individual to shame people and to do his role?
I'm not doing his role. I'm doing what he has me to do. But read Judges. Don't disregard the Old Testament. Judges chapter 19. The Levite sent his concubine. He cut her body into 12 pieces after she was mutilated to death. Hold on.
He wasn't going to behave that way anymore. That wasn't the way God was going to do it. So you shouldn't.
He sent her 12 body parts to the 12 tribes of Israel. And what was their response? That's disgusting. How dare you do that? You're shaming people. No. They asked, who did this thing? That's what you should be asking today. Who did this?
The Old Testament was the Old Testament, and God himself brought Jesus, and he had said that the things that happened in the Old Testament, he was never going to do it again. That he wasn't going to behave that way either. And ultimately, so it's being God to do the judgment and to shame people and to do that judgment. It is not our role as Christians to shame other people to action. It's with love and compassion.
Well, we have 50 years of babies being murdered and the churches don't do anything, so I mean, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
You really want the church to do. Pastor has stood up on the stage.
Stop tolerating baby murders. Stop regulating baby murder.
How? What do you mean by that?
Shut down the abortion mills. Demand.
Shut down the abortion.
Yeah, we should.
What is a tactical execution repercussion of that?
Thousands surround the sidewalks. Oh, hold on.
Church is supposed to come in and shut down
I'm trying to answer your question, but you keep cutting me off. Thousands of Christians should be out in front of these death camps every day until it's shut down. We could shut them down. We just choose not to.
So do you think you're motivating people through this method to do that action that you think should happen?
And if we weren't out here, they still would be doing nothing, because that's what 50 years has shown.
Do you think that you're motivating them for change?
More than if we weren't here, yes.
I disagree.
Okay, well, we disagree on that then. I can just tell you that I know that the people here, I know that the churches around Appleton are living at peace with baby murder, because I've been to Planned Parenthood. That sidewalk is usually empty, except for one Catholic man. And I think he's in his 70s, Dwayne. He's out there usually by himself. Why is that?
Okay, so
seriously.
I hear what you're saying.
Are you?
The Save the Stork organization has a whole section on it on church engagement. However, you're trying to reach the leaders. This isn't effective. Again,
Actually, it is.
You're truly trying.
Ma'am,
No, it's not. I'm telling you.
ma'am, let me explain. Let me explain. For many years, I've talked to pastors. I've talked to Christians who reached out to pastors for even decades ago, and they harden their hearts. They don't want to do anything. They justify not loving their neighbor as themselves. I know, because I've talked to many who've done that. I've talked to my own pastors, and they didn't want to do anything. And I've been doing this for over a decade. I'm just telling you what I've seen in my experience. The vast majority of professing Christians don't want to do anything.
But if you're trying to motivate change, you really have to ask yourself, is this working? Is this effective, or is this creating actually an opposite effect of what you want? Is there a different way, right? Are there other avenues?
If there was, if there's a better way, I'll do it, but I don't see a better way.
Please just look at it. I'm not saying Save the Stork is perfect, but I've watched it. I looked at they've actually made a difference through love and compassion. Love and compassion. No one is going to be motivated through shame and shock effect.
Well, I'll just say we should be ashamed when we're not loving our neighbors
You
ourselves.
may feel that way too, but it's also not your goal to shame people into action. That never works. It never works. Shaming people into
Actually,
action.
it does.
It does.
Because someone can feel guilty for not obeying God, and then they repent. It does work.
But it's not
Are you trying to shame us for what we do?
I'm trying to help you understand that you're passionate and you want it. Your intent is good. It's horrific. But you're having this breaks my heart, because you're so
Does this break your heart?
You're trying to influence change, but
Does that
it's
break your
not
heart?
having the effect that you want. You're turning people away from your cause,
Got ready for
and
it.
you spend your energy that you could be having more success and having actually inspiring people to motivate change and get behind you. This is motivating people to kind of stay away because the shock and awe of coming to Christmas Day, and now kids close your eyes. That's horrific.
Well, then they're probably not Christian then.
That's not true.
Well, I think it
I have an
is.
8-year-old daughter in there, and she looks out and she's like, what is outside of our Christian window? You're telling me I'm not Christian because an 8-year-old daughter or a young child shouldn't have to look at these images? Why would a young child?
Why wouldn't you want her to look at the images? She can understand.
Pardon?
Why wouldn't you want her to look at the images? She can understand.
I don't want my daughter to experience murder as a young child.
She is right now.
Young children don't experience anything. Why would I take her to see someone get murdered? I would never do that. There's always the parts that need to be protected and
Well, ma'am, she may see a lot worse years down the road if she rebels. Yeah. She may see a lot worse if.
Do you think that all children should see anyone who's that murder is bad? Whether it's
Well, this culture's teaching them that this is good.
What about adults? Do you think I should take my daughter to a murder scene?
Do you homeschool,
murder's
ma'am?
bad. You should look at this.
Do you homeschool? So your school's your child's public school? Christian school?
Yes.
Well, hopefully it's good, because there are Christian schools that teach ungodly things. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, and I've even heard of Christian schools having Planned Parenthood come in.
I know, you're taking these really West Coast, California type ways of living and putting it on the Midwestern people, where you're actually turning people away.
Well, they're already turned away from Jesus Christ.
But then why are you here? If you've already given up, then why are you here?
I haven't given up on obeying God. I'm not trying to get people to come out to the death camps because I already know they don't want to, the vast majority. There might be one person in there that actually loves God. There might be one, because I used to be that person myself. I used to be in churches that did nothing, but I was going out by myself. And I wish and I'll just tell you, I wish Christians, even one, had come to my churches where they weren't doing anything and held these signs and called the people there. I would have been so grateful. I'm like, thank you for coming. These people here don't care. They don't want to do anything. And it was very lonely. And so, I mean, I've been there. I've done it where even churches where they agreed with me, like I'm pro-life or we're on your side, but they won't join you at the place where they're murdering babies. And so, I mean, it's saddened me to be by myself.
You believe strongly that the way to do this is to advocate at Planned Parenthood and be very vocal on law. But do you agree that there are other ways to influence change on a different scale that are also effective?
Well, those ways, we've had 50 years of child sacrifice accepted by the churches. I'd say that's not very effective. 50 years.
I know that
50
there are people
years.
who work with girls who need help, they need support, they need a loving hand, they need acceptance.
Man, they've got all that.
I mean, Jesus has been with all sorts of sinners, and that's what he did, is giving them love, not shame. And the people who
well, man, they should be ashamed if they're thinking about murdering their baby. They should be shamed. They should be greatly ashamed. They have education, man.
But you're taking these really large examples of women who are lost, very lost, who are doing it on purpose, and it's horrific. And it's these other younger girls, I'm thinking of teenagers, young 20-year-olds, who go and they don't necessarily know. Yes, should they be educated? I do think, and I posted things like on my Facebook, anyone who is abortion should see these images and know what you're doing. You can't go to these.
Then why oppose this being shown in public? Why oppose it?
I oppose it because I don't think that young children need to see that, just like I don't think young children need to see any murder at this point. Their hearts are not ready and don't need to see that yet.
Okay, well, I gotta get going, but thank you for coming to talk to me.
I agree with your cause. I just really want you to find all the energy you're expending ways to have more of an effect. And I know the hearts of people coming through here, and you're pushing people away more than you're driving people to change. And I just encourage you to look for other ways to motivate change that is with love and compassion and over shame and shock effect.
Okay,
it deserves to be being right, and making a statement and actually trying to motivate impact.
Okay, well, we should be ashamed of our inaction. We should be ashamed of ourselves. It's embarrassing.
But that's what people in God
it's embarrassing.
Piece, right?
It's embarrassing. The silence of the churches in 50 years is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. The silence of the churches is embarrassing. It's a bad witness to the world. The world says abortion is a murder because those Christians don't act like it. That's what they say.